We are now in a global war for our very own survival. Humanity is in a dangerous predicament. The majority of people, still unaware of the severity of the situation unfolding, and that all their traditional ways of living, together with any freedoms they had, are rapidly coming to an end. This is a new type of war, where the will of a small clique of globalists are now locking horns against the rest of humanity in an epic struggle to control and crush their will for freedom, liberty, and independence. In previous wars, we saw nations pitted against nations in violent struggles to underpin various ideologies and desires of independence, which ran contrary to the overall accepted balance of power and status quo of world commerce. Now, with nations under the firm grip of the globalists, the will of those directing policy are undermining the will of the individual to be free. After World War II, the organizations and enterprises which financed and promoted the expansion of the British Empire changed tactics. They moved from an in-your-face colonial power to an array of global corporations and institutions, of which we see throughout the world today. These organizations are now working in lockstep as a soulless monolithic entity to bring forth a scientific dictatorship of full control over every aspect of human existence. This corporate takeover of our day-to-day lives has grown up on us by stealth. Over the past 70 years, almost all organizations and institutions have been corporatized, bringing them in line with global policy. Our towns, cities, councils, governments and police agencies have all been taken over and corporatized by this dark entity determined to force its will over centuries of tradition built upon common law, freedoms of righteous justice and equality. This war is like no other. Groups, institutions and nations opposing it have already fallen. They are now targeting the individual. On one side are the globalists, who are using every form of psychological operation known to man to distort the truth in their favor. Science, media, education, and even opposition groups have been infiltrated and compromised. On the other side are millions of individuals, many of whom now realize they have been deceived into somewhat participating and underpinning this growing technocracy, together with their own suppression and subjugation. There is nowhere left upon this earth to escape to. It is now up to this generation, at this tipping point in history. The choice is yours. You must now decide which side you are on. Either continue to support the growing impositions of this corporate monster, or you do whatever is necessary within your own capacity to bring truth and liberty back into the lives of your fellow citizens. The outcome of this war will depend upon whose will is the strongest, and whose will triumphs in the end.
Liberté, liberté chérie, converse avec des défenseurs, converse avec des défenseurs, sous nos drapeaux que la victoire